Jnanakosha, Puranas, Introduction.
सर्गच्च प्रतिसर्गच्च वंशो मन्वन्तराणि च वंशानुचरितं चैव पुराणं पञ्चलक्षणम्.
Skanda Purana. Kartikeya kills Tarakasura. Lord Shiva assured the deities who were also present there at Tarakasura's days were numbered. The deities' army then proceeded towards the battlefield. On their way, the deities heard a heavenly voice. You can defeat the demons only if you fight under the leadership of Kartikeya. Now all the deities requested Kartikeya to become their leader. Meanwhile, Devasena, the daughter of Mrityu, arrived there and requested Kartikeya to become her husband. Kartikeya accepted Devasena as his wife. This is the reason why he is also known as Devasenapati. Kartikeya was leading the deities' army mounted on an elephant. The army had all the deities in its rank: Indra, Varuna, Vayu, Kubera, Dharmaraja. Both the rival armies met at an island situated between Ganga and Yamuna. Tarakasura had come with a large army, which boasted of many brave and mighty warriors. The battle commenced and the first phase was dominated by the demons. The deities could not stand up to the might of demons. Even Indra was severely wounded when Tarakasura attacked him with his deadly weapon, Shakti. On being the level of destruction caused in the deities' army, King Muchukunda, who was on the side of the deities, attacked Tarakasura. In the ensuing battle, Muchukunda got injured and fell down on the ground. He got up furiously and tried to kill Tarakasura with his Brahmastra. Sage Narada told him that Brahmastra would be of no use as Tarakasura had been blessed with invincibility against mortals. Narada said, only Kartikeya is capable of killing Tarakasura, so you all need to have patience till Kartikeya accomplishes his mission. Meanwhile, Veerabhadra was fighting a duel bout against Tarakasura. He had already caused indescribable losses to the demons. While the fight was going on, Tarakasura realized that it was not easy to defeat him. So he decided to use his illusionary power, which helped him in acquiring 10,000 hands. The deities ran away from the battlefield when they saw ferocious Tarakasura approaching them. Lord Vishnu instructed Kartikeya to kill Tarakasura before it was too late. Kartikeya chased Tarakasura with his deadly weapon, Shakti, in his hand. A fierce fight took place between both of them. Kartikeya attacked Tarakasura with his Shakti. Tarakasura retaliated by hitting him with his own Shakti. The assault was so severe that Kartikeya lost his consciousness for few moments. When Kartikeya regained his consciousness, he got up quickly to fight against Tarakasura. Once again a fierce battle commenced. Kartikeya remembered his parents in reverence and released his Shakti in the direction of Tarakasura. Tarakasura died instantly. The deities were delighted at the death of their tormentor. Virtues of observing fast on Shivaratri. Sage Lomesh realized the virtues of Shivaratri in the following words. The 14th day of the dark half of the month is dedicated to the worship of Lord Shiva and is famously known as Shivaratri. It destroys all the sins committed by a man. Sage Lomesh then narrated a tale which emphasized the greatness of Shivaratri. Once upon a time, a Brahmin widow developed an illicit relationship with a Chandal. Later on, she gave birth to a son who was named Dusha. Her son had all the bad qualities one can think of: a gambler, a drunkard, a thief, a murderer. One day Dusha went to a Shiva temple with the intention of committing robbery. It was the festive night of Shivaratri and people had thronged the temple in a large number. so he did not get an opportunity to steal temple property. He remained awakened for the whole night, waiting for an opportune moment, but his wishes remained unfulfilled. He spent his time listening to the divine tales of Lord Shiva that was being narrated by the temple priest. Though he was a sinner, yet he took his next birth in a royal family on account of his two virtuous deeds. He had remained awakened for the whole night of Shivaratri, and he had listened to the tales of Shiva. In his next birth he was born to a king named Chitrangad, and he himself was named Vichitravirya. Vichitravirya was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He ultimately united with Lord Shiva and manifested as Veerbhadra at the time when Lord Shiva had shaken his head violently after hearing the sad news of Sati's demise. There are numerous instances of people attaining salvation by observing a fast on Shivaratri. The names of some great devotees to do so are King Bharata, Mandata, Dhundukumar, Harishchandra. Kartikeya's sorrow. While the deities hailed the glory of Kartikeya for having killed Tarakasura, Kartikeya himself was saddened by his act. He told the deities, I regret for having killed Tarakasura because he was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. Is there any way to atone for my sin? Lord Vishnu consoled him. Killing the wicked person who nourishes himself on the blood of innocent people is not a sinful deed. But still, if you feel guilty, then there is no better way to atone for your sin than worshipping Lord Shiva. Install Shivalingas and worship them with deep devotion. Kartikeya instructed Vishnu Karma to make 3 divine Shivalingas. Later on, Kartikeya installed these Shivalingas at 3 different places and worshipped them with appropriate rituals. In course of time, these 3 holy places came to be known as Pratigyasheshwar, Kapaleshwar and Kumareshwar. Kartikeya, while worshipping at Kapaleshwar, sprinkled holy water on the Shivalinga and prayed so that Tarakasura's soul rested in peace. He also offered sesame seeds to Lord Kapaleshwar and prayed, May my offerings made in the form of sesame seeds reach Tarak, the descendant of sage Kashyap. This way Kartikeya was absolved of his sins. Killing of Pralalamba. The demon named Pralamba had escaped unharmed in the battle fought between the deities and demons. As the deities were busy installing Shivalingas at different places, Pralamb started to torment their families in their absence. The deities got this information from Kumud, who appeared at the time when the deities were digging up a reservoir near Siddheshwar temple. All the deities requested Kartikeya to do something. Kartikeya released his fiery weapon, Shakti, in the direction of Pralamb. Shakti pierced the heart of earth and went right up to Patal Loka, where Pralamb lived with the surviving demons. All the demons were killed within few moments. A long tunnel had been created as the impact of Shakti's penetration of the earth. This tunnel was later on filled up with the water of Patalaganga and became famous as Siddhakupa. Kalabhitti's austere penance. There is an amazing tale related with the birth of Kalabhitti. During ancient times, there lived a sunless Brahmin named Manti in Kashi. He did an austere penance to get a son. At last, Lord Shiva became pleased by his devotion and appeared. Lord Shiva said, You will be blessed with an enlightened son who would liberate your whole clan. In course of time, Manti's wife became pregnant but amazingly did not deliver a baby even after a long time. 4 years passed like that, but Manti's wife did not deliver the child. Manti was perplexed by this unusual event, so he asked the baby, who was still in his mother's womb, as to why he was hesitant to come out. The child replied that he feared Kal, and this was the reason why he was not taking birth. The child said, "If you can assure me of protection from Kal, then I shall certainly take birth." How could have Manti given such an assurance? So he took refuge in Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva ordered 4 of his Ganas to go and convince the baby. The names of these 5 Ganas were Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, Aishwarya and Adharma. They assured the baby by saying, "Get rid of your fear. We assure you that each 4 of us, Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya and Aishwarya, will never abandon you." The 5th Gana, named Adharma, on the contrary, promised not to cast his evil shadow on the baby. These assurances were enough for the baby to come out from the womb. But even after taking birth, the child was trembling and wailing in fear. The Gana said, "Manti, your child is still fearful of the Kal. He is trembling and crying in spite of the best of our efforts to drive away his fears. So he will become famous as Kalabhitti, one who is fearful of Kal." Kalabhitti grew up to be a virtuous person. He used to engage himself in various kinds of austerities. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. One day, as Kalabhitti was meditating under a bale tree, he went into his trance. The joy experienced during trance period was something which he had never experienced before. He decided to regularly meditate under the tree. He did penance for 100 years, standing on his toe. Lord Shiva became pleased by his devotion and appeared in the guise of human being. Lord Shiva said, "O great soul, please discontinue with your penance. I have brought some water for you. Please quench your thirst." But Kalabhitti refused to take water from an unknown person. He requested Lord Shiva to reveal his identity. Kalabhitti also inquired Lord Shiva about his religion and conduct. Lord Shiva told him that he was beyond any religion or conduct. When Kalabhitti refused to have water, Lord Shiva dug up a large pit and emptied the pot into it. After that he disappeared. Kalabhitti stood fixed at that place, being stunned by the disappearance of Lord Shiva. Suddenly an affluent Shivalinga appeared under that pale wood apple tree. Kalabhitti worshipped that Shivalinga, which was radiating light in all directions. Now Lord Shiva appeared and blessed Kalabhitti to become free from the fear of Kal. From that day onwards, the Shivalinga situated there became famous as Mahakal. Before disappearing once again, Lord Shiva instructed Kalabhitti to preach sage Kardam, who was expected to visit him shortly. Kalabhitti himself became renowned as Mahakal because he had been successful in conquering death. Kardam's queries. As predicted by Lord Shiva, King Kardam arrived at the place where Mahakal was staying. First of all, he worshipped Lord Mahakal and subsequently went to meet sage Mahakal. King Kardam had numerous doubts regarding the rituals of Shraddha. So he asked Mahakal, "How does the rituals related to Tarpan satisfy the dead ancestors?" Shraddha. Mahakal replied, "The souls of dead ancestors are capable of accepting whatever is offered to them. Time and distance does not matter to them. They accept only the essence of whatever is offered to them and not the gross materials as such." Kardam posed his second query. "I think a soul, after it has abandoned the mortal body, is bound by its own karma. then how can the dead ancestors be expecting of giving us blessings and changing our fortunes? Mahakal replied, not all pitras are bound by their karmas. Pitras belonging to different classes like deities, asuras and yakshas are unembodied and formless, amrita. Similarly, the dead ancestors of all the four castes are called Murtha Pitras with form. These 7 types of Pitras are considered to be eternal and powerful. They also transcend the law of karma. A total number of 31 ganas are subordinate to them. The rituals of Shraddha are performed for the pacification of these 7 eternal Pitras. These 7 Pitras are the ones who shower blessings on the performers of the Shraddha rituals. Kardham's next question was, some people are of the view that one can attain salvation only by taking refuge in Lord Vishnu, while some think that only Lord Brahma is capable of giving salvation. There are many people who consider Lord Shiva as the supreme liberator. What do you have to say on this? Mahakal replied, God is one. The 3 deities you have named, even they eulogize each other. It is nothing but foolishness to grade them as superior, average or inferior. The thing which matters most in the path of salvation is individuals' unflinching faith and devotion. Any deity in whom he has total devotion is capable of giving salvation. Kardam then requested Mahakal to describe the appropriate rituals related to the worship of Lord Shiva. Mahakal replied, a devotee who puts on Tripund mark on his forehead, chest and both the shoulders while worshipping Lord Shiva is blessed to see the divine appearance of Lord Shiva. He should enter the temple premises with a pure heart. After entering the temple, he should purify the Shivalinga by removing all the unnecessary articles which may be lying there. He should then fill up 4 Gana Gauravas drinking pot with a curd spout with water. Articles like milk, curd, clarified butter, honey and sugar cane juice are kept to the left side of the Shivalinga. The devotee should then come out of the temple and worship the Dwarapalas. After that, deities like Kuldevata, Nandi, Mahakal Dhata and Vidhata are worshipped. Once again, he should enter the temple and sit in front of the Shivalinga and meditate on Lord Shiva. While performing Aradhya, he should make offerings of articles like water, akshat, kusha, grass, sandalwood, flowers, mustard seeds, milk, curd and honey. Having offered Aradhya, a devotee should perform the ritual of ablution with water, milk, curd, honey, clarified butter and sugar cane juice in the given order. While performing this ritual, the devotee should also offer dhupa and chant Om Hum Vishwa Murtyaya Namaha. Some other deities whom a devotee must worship along with the worship of Lord Shiva are Ishan, Tatpurusha, Saradhyo Jat. A devotee must also not forget to worship Shiva's trident. While doing this, he should chant Trishul, Dhanush, Khadaga, Kapal, Kutrobhya Namaha. A devotee should conclude his worship by begging for Lord Shiva's forgiveness for any mistake that he might have committed while performing the rituals.